high underhood temperatures rob horsepower from your snowmobile, as well as affect clutching and belt life. Now, to deal with those issues, I'm going to install 2 vent kits that I received from firstplaceparts.com. Both of these kits are made by WRP. A very easy installation, and at the end of the day, your snowmobile is going to be much happier and you're going to be much happier. Let's get these installed. Each kit comes with directions, vents, and securing rivets. Place your vent where you want it to go. Mark its location. For best appearances, you don't want your cut lines to be too far into the mesh or you're going to see them. So what I'm going to do is mark about 3/4 of an inch in. I'm just going to use my actual vent as the template. I'm going to do this all the way around. There is this little cross brace in the middle, and I am going to mark that in because I do want a little bit of structure and support in here, because at the end of the day I am removing a lot of material out of this. Different ways you can do this. You can either use a knife, a jigsaw, or a hole saw. Some people just cut a couple of holes here, a couple of holes here, different sizes, let the air through. That way they still have some structure in here, a little bit of extra support. I'm going to use the knife. I'm going to clear this out. It's actually very simple to cut this plastic material. I'm going to show you how I do it. I just warm up the plastic with one of my wife's old hair dryers. You can use a heat gun, but be very careful because it will warp the plastic very quickly. Before you start cutting into any of your panels, make sure you look behind them. Make sure there are no wires back there, or anything you can cut into that's going to damage your snowmobile. I've taken the foam off the back of these panels. Everything is good to go. And make sure you wear your protective safety glasses. What I do is I just run a light score down my cut line. It just is going to act as a guide when I put more pressure on. And go along here and I can trim this up. One thing I never do, I never put my hand in front of where I'm pushing or pulling this knife, because they do slip and then you're off to the hospital. Perfect. I'll clean this up down here a little. It's still a little dirty. As you can see, I left this little area for support right here, but to tell you the truth, this whole area doesn't take a whole lot of abuse or pressure, so it's probably not that imperative, but I kind of like it there, so I'm going to do that. Now, the kit does come with the rivets that you need to install this into the proper position, so I'm just going to start. The kit comes with the required rivets and a little backing washer, so make sure you use those because the rivets are going into plastic.
Yes! That's awesome!
That top vent looks really good. There's a little bit of black marker on here that I left. You don't have to use a marker. You could use a pencil, something light. I'll just use a little bit of acetone to peel that off. It'll come out very easily and not affect the paint. But make sure that if you are going to do it, that you test a little spot somewhere low on your snowmobile just to make sure that it doesn't affect the paint. I can see how that vent is going to let a lot of extra heat out of there, especially right above that pipe where it is. The other two vents that come with this kit are for the side panels. One side has a very fine pre-filter type material which goes on your clutch side, and the other one goes right here where your chain case is. In the instructions, they tell you that you can use a two-sided tape on the back side of here just to get a really nice tight fit if you're worried about any snow accumulating or coming in behind there. So I'll probably do that just because I have the belt drive in here and I want to keep all the snow out of there that I can. I have a few extra holes in here because these had knee pads on there before. The clutch side I'm not going to be installing because I have a little something special to go in there. I'm going to be installing the SLP high flow intake kit, and that'll be the topic of another video. To install this vent is the exact same procedure. I'm going to actually cut it out with a knife. I want the nice big area. I'm putting these vents in. I'm not going to use the hole saw method. It's a nice big area. I want to get as much flow out of there as I can. This time I've installed some two-sided tape and then I'm going to stick it into place. I'll drill it, rivet it, we're done. The second kit from First Place Parts comes with 3 vents. Both of these side vents actually come with that pre-filter material. Keep the fine dust and snow out of your sled. That one goes right there. Now this is a nice smooth curve. We'll be able to just rivet this on with no problems, no gaps in there. I won't need the two-sided tape. I'll bring this down a little lower. That way it won't interfere with anything. There we go. This side panel material actually cuts much easier than the hood. Let's do this. With this side panel, I've decided to leave it a little bit more structurally sound. So I am going to use a hole saw. I'm going to punch 2 holes out in each one of these panels. That way it'll be nice and solid if I do have to roll the sled in the deep powder or if I come in contact with a tree. Just going to go in and clean up around the edges of these holes, or else my screen, my vent won't come in good contact with everything. These ones I'm going to install as I go. I want to make sure that this is nice and tight all the way around. Don't want any gaps in there. Don't want any snow coming in. Of course, you can remove the panel to do this, but you know, I find it a little easier to do it right on this snowmobile. That is nice and tight. I like it. And the same procedure. Leave myself about 3/4 of an inch all the way around. And I'm going to use the hole saw again, because this area here does come in contact, for me anyway, with a lot of brush and bad stuff. I'm almost pulling back on this material here. It sort of stretches it out. Keeps it nice and flat. And finally, we're going to do the clutch side. This does have a pre-filter material, so it won't let the snow dust through onto your clutches, onto your belt. And that's what you want. But it does let the heat out, and that's the major benefit to having this. Well, that was a very easy installation. Took me about an hour, hour and a half, fiddling with the camera, of course. Now, I'm very confident that the underhood temperatures are going to be much lower now. This vent on the hood here is going to release all kinds of hot air. This one especially, beside the can, we're running a can on the sled, right at the belt drive. It's going to let all that heat out of there. It's going to increase the longevity of my parts and pieces, and that I like. All in all, my sled's going to run cooler. That means more horsepower, and that means more fun. When you go to order these vents, make sure you give firstplaceparts.com a call. They ship free in the United States. They ship USPS to Canada. Check us both out on Facebook. Give me a big old thumbs up. And I got to thank you for coming back to PowerModz. I'm Louis Skibo.